little more evidence than just a CSC warrant because...
Okay, all right. Hey, I promise I will show it to you. Do me a favor, please. Put your hands behind your back for me.
41-year-old Eric Wood of Hamilton was on his way to the grocery store Sunday evening when he was pulled over by an Allegan County Sheriff's deputy. He began recording the interaction on his cell phone.
I just had a female acquaintance ask me the same thing.
Yep, we will.
She literally texted me 2 days ago and said, "Is this you?" I said, "Not a f***ing chance in hell."
Okay, if it's not you, I'll get you on your way in just a minute, okay?
Once he was handcuffed, the deputy told him there was a warrant for his arrest for criminal sexual conduct, first degree involving a minor, a felony punishable by up to life in prison.
I said, that can't be possible, I don't do anything but go to work and come home and take care of my kids.
The deputy's computer showed the suspect had a previous Grand Rapids address.
I've never lived in Grand Rapids my entire life.
It took 45 minutes to an hour for the deputy to eventually learn he had the wrong Eric Wood.
They said somewhere between getting the report taken and submitting it to the prosecutor, my name got added to the warrant instead of the original suspect.
The original 24-year-old suspect has a different middle name. A new warrant was requested for him Monday. Court records show the warrant against this Eric Wood was canceled, though his case remains open in the court's online public search database.
It's not a very good charge to have for anybody, let alone for somebody that doesn't deserve it.
The chief deputy district court clerk told me she doesn't know how this error occurred. They entered the warrant they received to their office, and any questions we have should be referred to the prosecutor's office. Allegan County prosecuting attorney Myrene Cook sent us a statement saying in part, although Mr. Wood was briefly detained, he was never arrested, fingerprinted, or arraigned on the charges. As a result, his criminal record will not show these charges. As I explained to him, my office is working with the court to protect his privacy. We intend to do everything possible to ensure this error is corrected and sealed. As a result, I cannot further comment at this time. Criminal defense attorney Sarissa Montag says this kind of mistake is rare, but it can happen. She says Wood's charges need to be removed from the local court's database.
Because this man was not arrested, the case is not going to be in the Michigan State Police database, which is generally what is used in order for a background check to be made.
It's unknown how long that can take, but Wood hopes it's soon, as he plans to fight this mistaken case of identity all the way.
Don't let somebody do this to you. You got to stand up. The courthouse is terrifying to try and stand up against, but obviously there's a lot of problems going on internally there that need to get taken care of, and if one story helps it, then that's what needs to be done.
The DEA Detroit division seized 19 million deadly dosages of fentanyl pills and powder last year. This is their lab in Chicago, where they analyze samples to further investigations. In this small, secured room is where the DEA houses all of their evidence from 12 states in the Midwest. These samples were seized within the last year.
We're talking a lot about the M30 counterfeit tablets that contain fentanyl, which we're seeing a lot of those, huge uptick in those in the last few years.
There are also fake Adderall and ecstasy pills containing meth, Xanax with designer benzodiazepine, and heroin or fentanyl powder.
Sometimes difficult to tell that they're not the real thing if you're not sure what you're looking at.
Most of the drugs analyzed years ago were cocaine, meth, and heroin. But that has changed as people started ordering chemicals through the dark web and internet. Next step is the pills are sent to the forensic lab for analysis. The blue ones you see here are illicit M30 tablets containing fentanyl. They're crushed up and then introduced to an instrument that can separate the individual components in the pill.
And this is matching up with fentanyl. So we've done some studies too at the DEA about M30s that have been seized in exhibits, and that showed that 6 and 10 of the tablets contains over 2 milligrams of fentanyl, which is that lethal dose.
There's no quality control measure as in the pharmaceutical industry, so there's an inherent danger with taking these drugs.
So if they, kill a few people whilst making that dollar, they don't really care. It's about making money.
A spokesperson for the DEA Detroit division says most of the fentanyl killing Americans is trafficked by Mexican drug cartels who are getting chemicals sourced from China.
If we were to find every drug dealer, drug trafficker, and put them in jail, someone would come up and take their place.
McNeil says on top of putting away the street-level dealer and the supplier, they must address the demand side for these pills. That's why they've launched Operation Engage, which connects field offices with the communities they serve, bringing awareness to drug use trends and prevention efforts.
We did things, something as simple as a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, where you bring in young people to play basketball, and there's a job fair attached to that. And we had people come up to us and say, this is the first time I've hung out with law enforcement, and it was cool. You know, and just little things like that, reaching out into the community, can make a world of difference.
All in all, the evidence is turned into valuable information the DEA can use for enforcement or intelligence to mitigate the growing fentanyl crisis. In Chicago, Carla Bayron, 13 on your side.
We were in there less than a half hour.
This woman, who didn't want to be identified, was at the Woodland Mall with her daughter around 5:30 p.m. May 12th.
Maybe 20 minutes, and we walked out, car's gone.
She couldn't find her 2020 Kia Sportage in the parking lot and heard nothing of it until someone spotted 2 white Kias in their neighborhood.
Some lady messaged us off of Facebook and said, pretty sure the car was stolen. She found all my mail laying in the yard. She actually videotaped and sent me a video.
The police found her Kia a few hours later at the scene of a shooting about 15 minutes northwest of the mall.
Had us shook a little, you know, that they took my car that I drive my kids into a shooting.
She dropped her recovered Kia off at a local auto body shop the same night to repair the smashed broken window and steering column. A week later, she was told by staff the car was missing again.
We talked to the detective, and he informed us they watched the videos, and it was stolen on Friday the 13th. We dropped the car off there about 3:30 in the afternoon. It was stolen at 10:47, I think it was.
It was found at Underwood Avenue, where the owner says 2 juveniles were caught while, get this, trying to steal another Kia. The thieves put 960 miles on the car, trashed it, scribbled Kia boys and Kia girls on it, broke the front bumper, and dented the roof.
It's very violating feeling. You know, you don't trust people as much anymore. You're always looking over your shoulder.
She was told the juveniles weren't charged because they weren't physically in her car when they were arrested. Extremely frustrating.
They're just out there doing it again and again and again, and nothing's being done.
Police are still running fingerprints, but this owner wants other Kia owners to be aware. This is what the Kia boys are up to, causing financial and mental burdens.
It's worth the $30 for the club. I wish I would have known, but Kia didn't notify us. No one notified us that, hey, this is an ongoing problem for the last couple of years.